The three things people get wrong are that they do too much planning and too little real action. The second thing is that they tend to not seeing digital as the same as they're above the line. And the last thing, I think the most pertinent thing, is that they underestimate the impact it will have in their organization. The first is that you do too much planning and too little practice, if you so like. And this is about getting stuff out there in the market. So digital is too fluid to be kind of locked down or bogged down into kind of a long-term strategy. What you tend to want to have is the long-term vision, but a 1-month business plan, because that's how fast things move. So I think that what it's about, I'd much rather have real customer data on a shoddy prototype than having kind of a year of kind of user insight into something that is just on my, internally. And I think that's kind of is the first mistake I see. They want to be sure that this is right the first time. And I'm going to nick an expression from Facebook that 1% of the journey is done when you go live. That's where your real work starts. You've laid the foundation. Now let's start working the kind of platform for you. So therefore, my advice will be quick to the market, as quick as you can, and don't spend too much time of kind of looking at finding out all the details of your strategy. We tend to kind of still see budgets being kind of allocated to above the line and digital in many organizations, and I think that the winning brands of tomorrow is trying to kind of merge that into one. We start seeing much more of a chief digital officer in many kind of organizations, and I think the mistake they do is they look at it in silos, and that's probably coming down to how the organization is structured. But we tend to see this is what we're going to do above the line. This is what we're going to do in mobile. This is what we're going to do in the website. This is what we're going to do in the social channels. And never should they talk about kind of what's the holistic view. So I think it's about time that brands just look at this. Consumers don't consume you in silos. They look at you as holistic. And if the message doesn't jar up in the different kind of places they go to, they're going to lose confidence, and you're going to look like kind of a disjointed organization. And these are the small things that when people kind of make up their minds about should I go for that brand, it is that kind of flippant sometimes that they will go to the one that kind of feels most coherent or saying the same things. The last point is more about underestimating the impact it will have in your organization. You can have the world's best strategy, but if you don't have an organization that can react to real-time needs of consumers, you really have nothing. You lost in that kind of sense. And I think this is not just about actually organizational efficiency or be able to react to digital. It's as much to do with culture. So you need to employ the best talent in your organization to get something out, and the competition is fierce. So it's about both about, are you ready to react to data and content and things around you, and can you do that? I've seen an organization that says that they want to approve tweets before they go out to the market. I mean, you can't. They live for 3 seconds. You need to move on. The other thing is then the culture. Do you have a cultural fit? Do you benefit? Do your offices? Does your work staff, are they inspired by doing things digital? Then you will get much better out of them. So it's often that organizations fail. They forget about looking at actually it's going to have a huge impact on my internal organization, and I need to restructure. And that's the biggest change that they tend to not having control on before they set out.